At the center of Joyful Reunion, we have Duan Ling. He is an orphan living with his deceased mother's family, facing terrible abuse. One wintry day, a mysterious man arrives to take him away from this life and introduce him to a new one. This mysterious man is Lang Junxia. And while he doesn't say much, he completely transforms Duan Ling's life. He promises Duan Ling that his father is an incredible man and will one day soon arrive to take care of him. In this story, we witness Duan Ling make enemies, make friends, and develop deep familial bonds. Woven throughout Duan Ling's story is the power struggle that the country is currently facing, with multiple factions at war, a weak political climate, and multiple assassins hiding in the shadows. There is a lot on the horizon for Duan Ling to come. Hi everybody, welcome back to The Wonder of Anime. I'm your host, Lisa, and welcome to another installment of Danmei Fridays, where I sit and tell you about a Danmei that I have been reading. Now, if you follow The Wonder of Anime on social media or you are subscribed to my blog, then you will already be familiar with me talking about Joyful Reunion. I did a spoiler-free review on my blog, so a lot of that is going to be incorporated into this video. However, this video will contain spoilers. This video is going to give you the tea on this volume and truly how I felt about it, because I'm so serious. This book has had me in a chokehold, and I finished it 2 to 3 weeks ago, and I still cannot stop thinking about it. Before we get started, a big thank you to 7 Seas Entertainment, who sent me this arc for the story. I had already had Joyful Reunion on my list to purchase, and they reached out first and had the arc, and I was like, yes, give it to me. And I am so glad that they did, because as you all know, if you have watched my other Danmei Friday videos, I am on a Fei TIan Ye Xiang author binge, and I'm trying to read every single thing licensed by him that I can get my hands on. And I am coming off, finishing up To Rule in a Turbulent World, the available volumes, Legend of Exorcism, River Bay Road Men's Dormitory. So I am locked in with Fei TIan, and I couldn't have been more happy to get this arc to read Joyful Reunion. With Joyful Reunion, I stalk 7 Seas religiously. That's what I do, their Danmei site specifically. So I knew this was coming. I had my eye on it, and I'm a part of the Danmei subreddit. So I was familiar with that the story was coming out, but I wasn't exactly sure of the plot. And I was interested in seeing what people were saying about it without getting spoilers. And luckily, Reddit is a really good place for that, because people mark the spoilers. So I know that when the initial cover dropped, people unfamiliar with the story were kind of concerned, because you see this is a Danmei, and you see this young boy and this older man. Now, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but if you're watching this video, I hope you have read volume 1 and you are familiar with this. I think this is an okay spoiler, that this man on this cover is not a love interest. He's not a love interest. He's an adoptive father figure, Lang Junxia. So no worries. None of that here. No, none of that here is happening. And that was really good. I was like, okay, because why we got this little young boy on the cover? But reading the story, how it starts from his childhood, makes absolute complete sense why he's on the cover of the volume in this form. The one thing I will say, having been on the subreddit and reading through non-spoiler reviews of the series, is that there is a mystery on who the love interest is going to be, and that is not revealed in this volume 1 7 Seas edition of the story. The chapters from 1 to whatever this ends at, there's no revealing who the love interest is. Now, I will say, because I am insufferable, that I have figured out who the love interest is, and more accidentally, because I And I know this is like I said this video will contain spoilers, but this part specifically, feel free to skip ahead because I'm going to tell you how I deduced the love interest, and that is not revealed in this first volume. How I was deduced the love interest was that I was taking a look at the special edition materials that came with the first volume. If you got the special edition first, like the printed version. And there is artwork that contains a character that is described in this first part. And based on that description, I was able to be like, oh, I see you here on the bookmark and on the Shikashi board. I think there's a Shikashi board privacy panel thing. Either way, I put the description of this person and the artwork. I put 2 and 2 together and I deduced that this is the love interest. Because I'm like, why are they putting him on special edition materials if he's not the love interest? And in reading the story, I will say that I thought it was someone else and I was rooting for a different character to be the love interest. And I'll talk about that more in a future novel once the love interest is actually revealed. But looking back after I deduced who the love interest is going to be, I see how there was kind of special attention to him paid in the narrative. I see that now looking back with the knowledge that I have. At least I think so. I could be wrong, but I'm always wrong. But at least for me, I think that there was some more special attention paid to him than there was some of the other characters. Back to the story. Immediately, this story had me in a chokehold. I was locked and loaded. And that's because Duan Ling is a sweet little baby angel. First of all, you're going to start this story with him being 7 or 8 years old and he's facing abuse. My heart. It's like you want to put my heart in a blender and just like, it just hurt so bad because he was a sweet little innocent boy and he's getting punished for things that he doesn't do. So when Lang Junxia arrives, I'm like, yes, save him, take him away and give him a better life. And it's sad because Duan Ling was really like not used to being treated well. So he was so on edge with Lang Junxia at the beginning until he kind of proved that he is a good guy and that he was going to treat Duan Ling well. And he was actually just getting him ready to meet his father for the day that his father returned. And as Duan Ling started warming up to Lang Junxia and really just developing this kind of like adopted dad bond with him, my heart. Immediately, I was like, this is a story for me. And like I said, I am coming off just finishing the first volumes of Legend of Exorcism, reading To Rule in a Turbulent World. So I am familiar with Fei Tian's writing style, and he just writes things so fun and detailed and excited. Like, you're reading Duan Ling's like coming up in this story basically from age like 8 to 15, and at no point is it boring, at no point does it feel slow. You're just so immersed in the story, and I really think that is Fei Tian's doing on how he is carrying these characters' stories. But he just develops this father bond with Lang Junxia, and then it gets to the point where when his real father comes, it broke my heart. It really, really broke my heart because you can see that Duan Ling is heartbroken, distraught that now this man who's been taking care of him for the past 5 years has to go away. And not only does he have to go away, his real dad is here. He doesn't really know his real dad. And his real dad's like, listen, I know you got close to him, but that man's an assassin. That man's a killer. Like, he's doing this because he owes me a favor, but I really could kill that man. Like, don't be... He wasn't like, oh, don't ever talk about him again. But he definitely was kind of like, you don't know the full story about him. And I know to Duan Ling, like, that was really heartbreaking that he gained his real dad, but he's losing this father figure that really raised him from... I want to say, like, yeah, he raised him from, like, 8 to 13, but he had been really, like, the only person to raise him. So he's really the first person to love and care for him. And that was just absolutely heartbreaking. But then you're, like, distraught because Duan Ling's real father comes in, and he is perfect. He is an amazing dad. He is the dad that dreams are made of. Like, he just, the love and care that he had for Duan Ling, his endless support, his endless, like, do whatever it is that you want. I just want you to be happy. You want to be fucking gardening, like, fucking garden. Like, him as a father, oh my God. And I will say, on a personal note, as a mother to a son that day in and day out witnesses his relationship with his father, that just tugged at my heartstrings. That just had me like crying at every scene, because they had such a beautiful bond. And I think that one of Fei Tian's strengths in writing is not only that he writes like really good male love relationships, romantic love, but the bonds that he develops between his characters as friends, as like a teacher-student relationship, as parents, as adopted father. Like, he just is incredible. And he did such a great job in Joyful Reunion, just really driving in those relationships for this first volume that sets the tone for the rest of the story. And that makes the end of this first volume, Chicken Gege, when I see you, ooh, because why did this first volume have to end like that? Why did this first volume have to end like that? Now, let me say this, because if you've been here, if you've watched my videos, you know I have this terrible disease where I will skip to the end of the book and read like the last sentence and see what happens. I did that in this book. Let me tell you, that fucked me up. I haven't done it since. I have not done it since because it ruined my life. So I had skipped ahead and I saw that it basically ends that Duan Ling's birth real father, who came back and has been the father of everyone's dreams, died. And that was hurtful. That was very hurtful. But at the time that I read it, hadn't been introduced to the father yet in the story. So I hadn't liked him yet. I hadn't loved him yet. So when you actually read the book and you get to that end, Chicken Gege, when I see you, because why? Why did he have to die like that? They were so close to getting reunited. It makes me cry because I just want Duan Ling to be happy. And I know like that's the catalyst for the actual story here. We could have had a different catalyst. Because not only now, he lost Lang Junxia because he's an assassin. He was just doing a role that he was asked to do. Now his real father is dead. What did Duan Ling do to deserve this? I need him to have endless sunshine, happiness, and rainbows after this volume, because he deserves the world. He's a sweet little baby angel. He's going to grow up into be a sweet little angel baby man. And I need him to be the best. I need the best for him. And that, when I tell you that broke me inside, I still haven't recovered. I finished this book 2-3 weeks ago. I'm still crying about it, because it's just a testament of how well Chicken Gege wrote these relationships, how believable they are, how much love and care and like intimate moments he puts in between them in a way that just makes you long to see men in your life have these deep and wonderful relationships. And all of that stripped away from us at the end. I didn't deserve this, Fei Tian. I did not deserve this, but I trust in you. I trust in your vision, and I trust in what's coming up. But yeah, I absolutely love this story. This story was absolutely incredible. I cannot get over it, and I am so happy that I read it. And I was going to read it because, again, I'm on a Fei Tian binge, but it just didn't disappoint. It didn't disappoint, especially with how much I love To Rule in a Turbulent World, how much I love Legend of Exorcism. And now, I hadn't at the time, but since finishing this, I have finished Dinghai Fushin Records, another freaking banger. I'm gonna have a video on that soon. But yeah, Fei Tian, you got me in a chokehold. Joyful Reunion was I felt like I would love it because it was Fei Tian and I'm loving every read by him so far. I just was unprepared on how much I was going to love this story, how much it was going to tug at my heartstrings. And this is only volume 1. This is only volume 1. I think there are 6 volumes in total. Yes, there are 6 volumes total. So I have 5 more volumes. Like, the next volume can't end like this, though. You better not end it on no crazy cliffhanger like this, because this destroyed me. I'm not okay. But I also cannot wait for volume 2. But yeah, those are my, this is a little bit less composed than some of my other videos, because I kind of did a lot of the review on my blog, but this was just a spoiler activated review. But I love Joyful Reunion Volume 1. Again, a big thank you to Seven Seas Entertainment for sending me the arc. And I cannot wait to get into Volume 2. So if you have read Volume 1, please leave your thoughts in the comments. I would love to know what you thought about my thoughts, what you thought about the book. What are your predictions to come? No spoilers, please, if you do know the story. And yeah, I just loved it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I will see you on the next one. Peace out.